Well, again, welcome my colleagues, you young fellows, and then the younger ones from the high school down here, and especially my little friend here. And okay, Hasbro did a classic run of G.I. Joes, and mine was the first one. I wanted the kids to see it. And it took 4 years for him to do this, and I'm going to leave it here on the way out. And for the youngsters, if they would like, if they wish to take one of the citations, I'd be willing to autograph it from her. But I think that they already have a stencil autograph on it. My citation is dated December 24th, 1944. A little early Christmas that year for me, anyway. And it was for the youngsters here, although I do see some Battle of the Bulge caps around. So you fellows can probably tell me some stuff. And in December of 1944, the Germans were really, we thought we'd practically win the war. The Germans came out with their largest offensive in December of 44. We were kind of thin spread for the U.S. Army. And my organization was the 30th Infantry Division. We were up in the Netherlands. They moved us overnight down into Belgium to stymie this attack. And I was with a squad that, in theory, was not going to see any combat. They had us on guard duty at the bridge because Army intelligence said the Germans could not get that far. Well, let us say that Army intelligence once in a while was wrong. And as the older people say, Army intelligence can be an oxymoron sometimes. And consequently, my squad and myself held up this bridge, and that was the farthest point that the Germans ever got in that sector, the northern sector. During the course of the day, I was able to disable four German tanks, rescued 5 men from another organization that had been about captured by the Germans. And that's about it. I know others here. That's one thing I will never forget about that, and we just went through it this week. That winter of 1944, 1945 was the coldest winter in Europe in 100 years. And unfortunately for me, for 3 months I never saw the inside of my building. I was out there. So if you could think of what it's like, think if you had to be out 24 hours a day in the middle of January this year, and on top of that, somebody who's shooting at you, you have a kind of vision. If you see these caps around here that says Battle of the Bulge, that's what that fellow was going through at that time. So when you shake their hand, give it a big squeeze, because it needs to warm their hands up. It's still cold. Correct on that?
Amen.
Come on, buddy. Thank you.
What I'd like to do is introduce the other veterans to you. Maybe they could give you the name, the branch of service they served in, and the place they served in. I get a good chance to do this, put my hands on their shoulders.
I'm going to try to get a free dinner.
Yeah. Tell them your name.
Art Hamilton. That's in the amphibious force. That's the force that where ships come into the beach, open up the bow doors, the tanks fly out. In fact, when you walk by, I'll show you a picture of our beach sitting on the beach right now. I got one right there.
Normandy. No,
Kids
here's
only have
Normandy.
30 minutes, so we're gonna go. So this is United States Navy, right? You got clap for all of them.
That's Normandy. That's Normandy. Normandy. He's Normandy.
Here's a gentleman from the Battle of the Bulge. This was in the same battle that Mr. Currey was in. Here goes another one. I can put my hands on. Go ahead.
I can't say anything more than he did. It's just that it was a cold winter. Snow was 3 foot high, and we were, it was rough. Yeah, we had to go up the mountain, but we had mules to help us. So the snow was so high, and we couldn't get up there that easy, so they put some packs on the mules and that helped us get up in the mountains.
And what's your name is?
Eugene Calabrese.
United States Army, right?
Yeah.
Yes. Mr. Lemme, United States Marines. He was on an island called Jima, which you know the famous flag is over there. And his picture is up there with Shirley Temple, who was a very famous actress at the time. United States Marines.
That was my proudest moment, being with Shirley, I guess. The other thing was getting the Purple Heart, and I'm proud of that. And that's about it. A hand grenade landed next to my foxhole, and I got sprayed all over. But anyway, I was one of the lucky ones. I was only on the island for 13 days, and that was it. So that was the extent of my World War II.
Battle of the Bulge, United States Army, and
Alan Atwell. You heard how cold it was. I got frostbite so bad that I couldn't walk. I was taken to the hospital, and there was no treatment then. You just laid on an army cot with your feet sticking out. If they turned black, they cut them off. I was ordered down to a room which was a seminar of doctors. They helped me up onto a table like this, took a needle and stuck in my toes to show that I didn't have any feeling. Okay, Atwell, you're dismissed. With a shrapnel wound, you recover, but with frostbite, you have this forever. And I have trouble in the wintertime keeping my feet warm, and in the summertime they burn. Stay out of the cold.
I can see his hat says United States Navy. He's a D-Day survivor on beach, so go ahead.
My name is Ralph Avery, and like the lady said, I belong to the U.S. Navy. The branch was the amphibious force. The boat was a LCT. That's a landing craft tanks. That's what they put the tanks on out there. We carried 4 25-ton Shermans, amphibious tanks that was to be launched out in the middle of the English Channel, and they were self-propelled to go into the beach to support these Army Rangers and anybody else that was headed for the beach. That was their sole support. The beach, the channel was so rough that most of the tanks sunk. We managed to, they stopped launching and said to take the tanks into the beach, into Omaha Beach. So we had to go all the way into them, which was terrible. But out of the 39 tanks they had, I think 2 or 3 survived the onslaught onto the beach. But I don't know why I'm here today, but it was just to thank God that it worked the way it did. That so many men was killed there. But,
We're here to pass the history on.
yes.
He was a ranger. Tell them your name.
Bill Warren. I was in the 5th Ranger Battalion. We landed on D-Day, HR, and I went all the way through to Austria.
What cliff were you at?
Point de Hoc.
Point de Hoc.
If you look at any of the pictures of World War II,
That
watch
was
the
their main
Rangers
job,
trying to
to take
climb the
that cliff.
cliffs.
Oh, they were throwing grenades and everything else.
And this handsome gentleman in blue,
Harold, that's Harold Williams.
Harold.
I didn't get on the beach at that 7 o'clock time that they had in the paper a while back.
Oh.
We didn't get in until a little while later.
It was still hot
I
though,
just
wasn't
want to tell all you children here that you wouldn't understand the carnage and the destruction there was that morning. And many wonderful young men who lost their lives that morning. And God spared my life, so that's all I got to say.
Oh,
My name is Bill Peak, of U.S. Army. I worked in cryptography, and I was one of the lucky ones. Because of the nature of the work I did, I didn't have to go overseas. I spent 3 years, 10 months, and 2 days doing what I had to do. Worked many, many hours. And that's why, one of the reasons why Frank is here with Patriot Flight, because it was my time to pay you guys back for what you did with me. And I had it pretty good, and you were getting shot at. You deserved that trip to Washington.
First we have a Marine. Your name, were you on Iwo Jima also?
Bob Youngs, the marshals, Saipan, Tinian, Iwo Jima, and Iwo Jima was the worst. It was one of a kind, and we lost probably 60 or 70% of our men. It was the worst battle the Marine Corps ever had. And I'm a firm believer that one reason for dropping the bomb was we were running out of people. And we also had Okinawa coming up, which was equally bad. So it was the best thing that ever happened. I can tell you, and they declared that the Japs wanted to quit. We were all for it because I saw the maps of the landings in the Japanese over in Japan. And what they were going to do, we were going to make 6 Marine landings, 3 in one location, 3 in another location. And we were going to, somebody asked Bill, what are you going to do? Where are you going to get more Marines? He said, there will be no more Marines because we're going to take this Japan. And that's really what we were facing was we were going to be wiped out. And fortunately, the Japanese realized that it was time to give it up, and they quit. And it's, believe me, nobody was happier than I was.
I want to thank you for coming, because again, you've met yesterday's heroes. And they know what they were fighting for, they just have to look at your faces to see it. So I'm glad that you came, and I hope you enjoyed your experience. And shake their hands as you get up and leave, the teacher will get you going.
What do we say?
Yeah.
Thank you. Thank you.
Oh, back to school.